Well, I'm Dr. Janet Six, Senior Product Manager at Tom Sawyer Software, and today we're going to be talking about the new features in Tom Sawyer Explorations 1.1. And these include support for authentication with Keycloak, the ability to save, load, and edit projects, and the ability to add customized tables. So first, we did add support for Keycloak in Explorations 1.1, and this capability supports authentication, which provides security and user management capabilities. And you can connect to existing authentication systems that you already have at your company. And next, let's talk about how to save, load, and edit projects. And so I am going to bring over Tom Sawyer Explorations, which we have running live here. And we're on the home page with My Projects. And here you can add new projects, and you can also work with existing projects as well. So first, let's look at these two existing projects that I have loaded. And these are specifically projects that I have created before today's webinar. So when you log into Explorations with the authentication that we were just discussing, you will see the projects that you have been working with. And so we can see here that I have a project working with the Northwind data. And if I come over here and hover, we can see how we can load this project, duplicate it, edit it, and also delete it. Okay, so now let's do a little bit of work with these capabilities. So first, we're going to add a new project. And so we are going to be working with some financial data. So let me add a name to our project. We're going to be working with the find send data. And this is a Neo4j database, but you can see here that we also support several other types of graph databases. We support Amazon Neptune, both with Gremlin and OpenCipher, Janus Graph, OrientDB, and Microsoft Cosmos Azure. All right, so here I had selected the Neo4j entry there on the last dialog because we're going to be using one of the test databases that Neo4j has available. And we're going to be working with the financial data. So let me enter our authentication details. And right now, Explorations is automatically extracting the schema. We do not have to manually create the schema. As we can see here, that is automatically done for us by Explorations. So we have three node element types, and then we also have several edge element types as well. And you can see how many of each model element type are available. So let's go ahead and select entry or entity, country, and the edge that connects them. And we're going to run a query based on what I've just selected here in the schema. So now we see our interactive query builder here in Explorations. And so again, it's just summarizing what we just asked it to do in the schema view. We say, bring us some entities and their countries with the edges between them. So this will bring us 40 elements or 50 elements into our first visualization. So I'm able to run this query on the Neo4j database without having to write a Cypher query. I just create this visual graph pattern and click OK. And there we see our data, which is returned back from the database. Okay, now we have several capabilities here, which I'm not going to go into too much today, but here you can update the node styling, the text which shows in the node, the colors which show. We can see details for selected elements here in the detail pane. We have filters, so we can add and remove elements to our visualization, and we also can apply analysis. And the the projects are saved automatically. And so this automatic saving your project is going to ensure that your progress is preserved without manual intervention. And the saved projects include the connection details for the database, plus an exploration, which specifies your loaded data and any applied analyses. Okay, so this project is saved. And let's return back to our home page with My Projects. And we can see here, this first item now is that one that we just added. All right, so now let's go and test out how to duplicate a project. So this is the one that we just created, and I'm going to say duplicate, which you can see it just did, and it added that item here at the top of our listing. And I want to rename it. I don't want to call it copy of. I want to give it another name. So we're going to choose edit, and I am going to update the name. And we're going to change it from version 0 to version 1 and press OK. All right, so you can see here how I've renamed that project. Okay, so now let's go ahead and load this duplicated project. Okay, so there is the data that we were working with before. So now let's choose an entity and let's load some additional data. So I'll say load me the neighbors of that. And you can see how it brought that additional data in. Now let's go and run some analysis. And so I'm going to run a clustering analysis. And you can see how the colors have also changed here in the visualization. Now let's go back to our homepage with My Projects. Again, we see the listing. Now we're just going to go ahead and go back and reload that project we were just working with. And you can see how it loads exactly where we left off. We have the data that we were looking at before, and we have the clustering, which we had just applied. So it will remember our previous state. Okay, so now one more action we'll practice here on the My Projects page is that ability to delete projects. So let's go ahead and delete that duplicate project. So I'm going to press delete. It'll have a dialog here asking if I do want to delete that project and say yes. And it is updated. And now we're back to these 3 projects. Okay, very good. So now we're going to show the new tables capability. So you can add your own tables and you define which model elements and which attributes you want to show and some other styling capabilities. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to load the Northwind project that I have here that I created before today's webinar. And so how I did that is that I connected to, again, one of those Neo4j test databases. This is with the Northwind database. You may have heard of that. If you haven't, it has sales data, products, suppliers, customers, orders, data of that type. So I connected with that. And also I did update some node styling here as well. So let me zoom in here. Okay, so we have the, I updated the text styling to show the product names, the supplier names, and so on. Okay, so now let's zoom back out. Okay, great. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add a table. So you see here at the bottom, we have this button. So I'm going to press add table. And so first we're going to add a table for suppliers. I'll press suppliers. And then here we get to choose one or more model element types. So where do these model element types come from? That's from our schema. And as we showed a few minutes ago, the schema is automatically extracted by Explorations. So here I can choose one or more. I want to know information about the supplier, so I'm going to select just the supplier. And then we get to choose, well, which attributes do you want to show in the table? So I want to show the address, the company name, and the region. Now press the next button here, and we'll see a summary of which attributes we're showing in the table. Okay, so these are the attributes I selected, but I'd like to update the ordering. I'd like the company name to be first. So I can drag that into the first position. So now we see the attributes and in the order that I would like to see. And we'll also choose the alternate row color so we can see the rows a little bit more easily. And I click OK. And so here is our new table. And we defined which model element and which attributes we want to show. Okay, so now let's add a second table, and this one for products. And I want to select the product element type, and I want to have the product name, quantity per unit, units in stock, and units on order. And I click next, and I like this ordering of the elements in the table, so I will keep that order. And again, I'll select that alternate row color and click OK. And so now we have our second table here with our products. So we have suppliers here and we have products over here. Okay, now these views are synchronized. So I can select an item in the table and it will take us to that item in the drawing view. Let's do that again. And again, we are taken to that part of the drawing view. And it also works in reverse. So I can select a product in the drawing view and it will take me to that product here, also in the table. Okay, so now we also have search capability. And so let's go ahead and search for chocolate. And you can see here that we have one product with chocolate, the Tea Time Chocolate Biscuits. So I'm going to select that, and you can see how simultaneously we're taken to that item in the table, and then also the drawing view. Now, from the table view, we also have the capability to load neighbors. In fact, we have this load neighbors capability in both the drawing view and the table view. So if you are more comfortable working in the drawing view or the table view, or maybe you've been, for example, studying the table view quite a bit and you have an item selected there and you want to load the neighbors of that. So in our case, we want to find out, well, how many times has this product been ordered? You can load the neighbors directly from this table view. And so let's go ahead and do that. So we have this Tea Time Chocolate Biscuits, which is selected, and we're going to open our Load Neighbors dialog here. And so I want to load specific kind of neighbors. I want to find out which orders has this product been in. So we're going to do an edit. I'm going to change any to order. So this graph pattern is going to show us which order have those chocolate tea time biscuits. But I want to find out more information. Who's been ordering those? So I'm going to add another edge and node here, and I'm going to choose customer. So now we have a graph pattern where we have selected chocolate tea time biscuits, and I want to see the orders that include those and which customers made those orders. And again, we can query the data without the need to know the Cipher query language. So we're going to click OK. And we can see how the data is automatically loaded into both the drawing and the table visualizations. Okay. Now, a little bit more about tables. We also can edit existing tables. So let's go over here to our supplier table, and I'm going to right click and choose edit. And you can see here the attributes which we had previously selected. And I want to add another one. I want to add contact name. So I select that and choose next. And you can see how it put it at the end of the columns. I want to have the contact name up right here next to the company name. So you can see how I reordered the order of the columns, and I click OK, and you can see how the table was automatically updated for us. And here are the contact names for these elements. And we have it here in that place that I wanted right next to the company name. Okay, and we also can export the items which are in the table. So I'm going to, again, here from the supplier table, I'm going to choose this export to Excel, and we can enter a file name here. I'm just going to keep the default and press OK. And it automatically has exported an Excel file, which I'll open here. And again, you can see the items that we had here in the table. So we have our company names, contact names, the address, and the region for those data elements that we have been studying here in Explorations. Okay. And finally, with tables, we can delete them as well. So I'm going to select the products table, right click, and delete. It'll ask if I really want to do that. So I press delete. And so now that table has been removed. Okay, well, those are our new exciting features in Explorations 1.1. We have support for authentication with Keycloak. We have the ability to create, duplicate, and edit projects. And we can add customized tables with your choice of model element types and attributes. And so we appreciate you being here today. Please contact us at tomsawyer.com to find out more about Tom Sawyer Explorations or to start your free trial. Also, please reach out to find out more about Tom Sawyer Perspectives, which is the graph technology platform which we used to build Tom Sawyer Explorations. And please contact us. We'll be glad to schedule a call for you with one of our graph and data visualization experts, and we can help guide you to the best solution.